Oh, you would think I bought a refurbished HP. It keeps saying no space. So we'll see what happens. So it's shut off. Now, we had the regulatory commissions in the early 1900s that were created to explain science to congressmen. The science to be explained is the radio. Mr. Taft will leave the presidency. He will divide commerce and labor. He will become a Supreme Court justice and he will say, oh, I just don't understand this radio and I don't want to hear anything about it. He decides what is heard. Anyway, the Office of Technological Management, in my opinion, was similar to the regulatory agencies of which Ted Kennedy, as a senator, 68, as Nicholas Johnson, former FCC chairman, will write. He puts it in the bibliography of talking back to your TV. Senator Ted Kennedy's questionnaire. Basically, he is asking that these regulatory agencies allow people to have participation. Consumerism. Well, I guess Chappaquiddick, Teddy doesn't bring it up, but Johnson does. And then nobody brings up Johnson's book, Talking Back to Your TV. That's not Mark Crispin Miller of Johns Hopkins seeing through the movies. But now I'm going to give it to you all through the movies. I stated that the technological reshaping of metropolitan America, which I bought from the government printing office, what you are going to begin to see in 1995 is the elimination of the government bookstore, almost on every other block. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Nobody said a damn thing. Well, I got what I needed, including the little green book. That was the ROUSE projects of the Inner Harbor, the South Street Seaport, the Norfolk, Virginia, and then that one in Philadelphia, including the little J51 something or other of New York City. That's a little iffy because I really think they did that before that. There were stores below and apartments above. Oh, I'm sorry, because the social work department didn't assign it? Because the news people didn't talk this way? I'm up to 3 and I think I did 5 on the other. So now, your Office for Technological Management, Reshaping of Metropolitan America, Fiber Optics, says possibility of electronic welfare debits. Well, 1993 Children's Defense Fund yearbook, which I purchased. Look, don't try to purport me as some teenager. I pay taxes. I am a Maryland resident required to get in-state status. You play this shit with somebody else. You made me get a driver's license. No more state ID. Did you need more money? You needed everybody with a state ID to get a driver's license? The University of Maryland will offer tuition investment for newborns. Nobody took advantage because everybody knows they steal the money. Not until, in my opinion, it was overseen by T. Rowe Price. In a nutshell, where are we now? Yes, Edelman in Baltimore City test site for electronic welfare debits. And I'm assuming that is why my Korean deli owner is so mad in 95 November. On my walking tour from the Kennedy Krieger Institute, just refurbished, and they were there for the grand opening. Now, next to that, although they're all boarded up too. Blind eye, ooh, you're like a horse. You know, those. Anyway, down that street, hang a left. Look down that road, they're all demolished. I'm assuming, but I don't know, and I'm not walking there. That's dangerous, and I'm not stupid. No hard hat. I think it could be the shot tower bumping, I don't know, the subway. It's new. Well, they're all demolished, but nobody has done anything with the bricks. Now, this Korean deli owner, he tells me somebody was shot out there. Okay, thank you. He thinks I work for the state. No. He's angry, angry, angry. I pay for the register tape. I pay for the ink. And of course, I worked in a supermarket. It shuts down to zero out. What happens to the line of people? If that is the reason for your Korean deli Los Angeles problems with the black community, did Marion know? You did a test site, but you did no benchmark? None of my business. Anyway, so that was already a possibility. Now that will be gone. Nuke gets rid of it. So you're on your own. Now there are no more food stamps. So basically, it's an electronic welfare debit. So basically, this movie, Murphy's Romance with James Garner, not Garner versus Louisiana 1961, eating in a Louisiana restaurant. Black people can do it. So basically, maybe you didn't do it then, but don't you think you should throw in Garner versus Louisiana now, 1961? You could throw in James Garner and Sally Field. You love Sally, she's Gidget. She's in the store and I guess she needs food stamps. She's white. And the girl says, I need food stamp change. You don't have to say that anymore. It's on an electronic debit. Come on. And then that Tom Hanks mail movie. That woman will go on to be in that Grey's Anatomy. She has 11 items and she tries to kick her off. The supermarket line. So basically, as I said before, but you never know, that supermarket accounting person who goes to get the food stamp change when there was some, she probably has an accounting degree. So basically, I said the thing about the government bookstore, the ROUSE, the Goodbye Inner Harbor. Well, you had Jane Jacobs in New York City, and she's trying to save, as we will see from the Southeast Slum Clearance Project, Washington Square, NYU area. But they didn't want that either. That's Jane Jacobs also working with America, with a K, the State Department, trying to sell, I don't know, to Russia. It's in Russian. And it is run in that New York Greenwich Village area, Jane Jacobs of Canada. Similar to Barbara Mikulski, though, of Fells Point, social worker graduate, UMBC. She will save Fells Point, and Jane saves Greenwich Village. Because the artists want to put their wares on the sidewalk. Okay, so I bridged you there with Fells Point, nice little college bar, drink. And back to this demise of the Inner Harbor. So they're advertising it, and nobody says, wow, that used to be the McCormick Spice Company. And it was demolished and brought to Hunt Valley. Ooh, we are recreating the green space of the suburbs. You know, the scene in the diner where the lady's on the horseback, the car, then the commerce, you know, on that street with the archives in D.C., and that man and the horse, the commerce building. And then back to my Michael Landon and the commerce of the wagon, where he thought he could ford across, but then the big stream was a river, and he had to hold the nostrils. That's not fighting. That's saving your horse. He's going to drown. And then your family, oh my God. You talked TV for money. I know TV. I was stunted. You have economics degrees and you sold me shit? What am I going to do with shit? Check it for hepatitis? I'm not a graduate of Dunbar with a 2-year college degree to work entry level in a hospital to check your shit for hepatitis. You see how I tie this all in? I know it's kind of smelly. Oh, come on. You used to use a match and then they created that, what was it called? Poof, poof, puff, puff. It was in everybody. You don't remember that either. Anyway, McCormick will leave the Inner Harbor area for Rouse's. Oh, the people on Facebook, we miss the smell of the spices. Well, you got some tourist dollars. The tourists know nothing. You gave them some lead water too, who knows? Container tax for sure. MCI will join Hunt Valley. Oh, the diner. He's in love with that girl on the horse. She probably owns all the property. You don't remember that scene either. Oh. Yeah, they wanted one of my uncle's row houses. I don't really know why. I'm not impressed. I mean, why take his row house? It wasn't nothing, but. Okay, so man and horse. I still haven't gotten Equus, a 1970 English production on New York Broadway in the 70s, redone in 95 or 2000 with that guy from Harry Potter, butt naked. It's a horse thing. Equus. So where are we now? We are with the diner. Yes. Who can remember or forget MCI? MCI will go with McCormick to Hunt Valley. Who can forget MCI Pentagon City? It is now a stop on the metro. It employed a lot of people. MCI, did it not? You had good jobs, did you not? Okay, now McCormick 2026, modern slavery. Everybody in the United States of America. I know, they didn't ask that. Your Black Lives Matters. Your Bad Bunny people. I am asking that the NFL and the, what's it called? NBA and the USTA, wherever you make your little t-shirts. No, the modern slavery, just like McCormick, go to their website. We do not believe in trafficking. You should be following their lead. Why not? Now we're going back to the Inner Harbor. The Modern Industry Museum of Baltimore. All the industries of Baltimore. Check that out. It ain't going anywhere. They should say that. Inner Harbor leaving, but modern industry. Everything Baltimore. Noxzema, Baltimore, probably in there. Now where are we? Ah, the Arabers. There's somebody famous named Carter, not Jimmy, right? Oh, that was a great line. Weaver, not Earl. They didn't like that either. Your theater, your arts must be supported by the tax base. Anyway, there is a Carter besides Jimmy. I know, Rosalind did mental health. You haven't looked into that either. Did she do a good job with mental health? Anyway, there is a Carter. A Carter is a rosebud, is a sleigh. So in the wintertime, I'm assuming the Carters, when they were a sleigh, Rosebud, Citizen Kane, they had little wooden things on the bottom so they could go in the snow and sell their wares. Well, this Jacob Lawrence, that's kind of like an Araber. The Arabers were even in Baltimore selling fruit before the Inner Harbor of Rouse. So now we know what Rosebud is. Rosebud is a Carter, is a sleigh. And the sleigh in the wintertime had the wooden things on the bottom. Rosebud, Rosebud. Citizen Kane had Ruth Warwick. Ruth Warwick is Phoebe Tyler of All My Children. Cortlandt Manor comes in later with Palmer. Nina gets kidnapped by my former tenant. He's the junta. I don't make this up. I need the Cipher article. Construction workers versus college students, the bittersweet. Social science record, Columbia University, blah, blah, blah. It is impossible that I need it. Construction workers, that's like the entire Ms. You didn't ask me if I wanted to be Ms. Little Miss Ms. It's 6 pages. The bittersweet education. Well, I also asked Tuskegee, did you provide a certificate program for African Americans who could not get an apprenticeship in a union? No response. Well, when Tuskegee was founded, they made the school, the students. They made the bricks. They found the recipe. It's not the Waltons with the Baldwin sisters. I would say, and who can figure out that Baldwin plan, but I'm not going to do that to you, but it's a blob. First, I thought it could be like the radio frequency, like that's international politics, George Quester. Canadians don't, many countries, it's like the border airwaves. They don't want your shit in their border. All right, so we got the Arab Burrs. I got you to the Garner versus Louisiana. They could eat in the restaurant. The silence, they weren't bothering. And what did we forget? We got the Arab Burrs. That's the fruit people. The Jacob Lawrence is the artist. The Carter is the sleigh. And that person, although he does Annie, it's a hard knock life. You need to talk to that other Annie person because I'm beyond all of it. On the floor, though, it's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for... Oh, I know I used to do Tomorrow pretty good. Now that, on the floor, I can't find a video of it. That's like wax on, wax off. That little Kung Fu man from Happy Days. She's on the floor, though. He's knocking Nixon in the goddamn... Ooh. Sorry. In the Annie. Right there on the cover. I left you an unopened one at my house with all of my little RCA records for the penny. That's unopened from Annie. Because I was there with my dad. He was the chaperone. I'm just telling you things he should have told the bus. Like Herbert Hoover was a great guy. Born in China, educated engineer, probably the smartest president that ever existed. Condoleezza is doing his name bad. She is. It's the 21st century. Peace, school, vulgarity, clause, created in like 1870 California for the sensitive ears of the mother and child, active well into 1975. No woman complained that California thinks my children can't hear a curse that the licensed people for the parks gave the permit. Oh, that would have been a great court case, don't you think? And J. Edgar Hoover, please, you could have defined vulgarity before that other guy, James Carlin. Oh, it would have been great. And before Mapplethorpe. Oh, you missed that opportunity too. Why is that? But those women, why didn't you want to do that? You can't tell my child what they can hear. They're at my hip. And the Parks Department gave Huey Newton the license. Huey Newton never protested without a license. Well, I think I hit upon everything. MCI. If you worked for MCI, you were 100% vested to begin with. Because that's my roommate's job. She was pulled in by my neighbor from Ossining. It's a small world, isn't it? Robin got a job with MCI. She's from Ossining, New York. I'm from Tarrytown. That's the Headless Horseman versus the Ossining Indians. We are going to do the haul with the butcher paper. But you know what's happening? I'm going to tell you. Laura is marrying Scotty, and nobody that can draw, because I can't. Excuse me, I can't. They're not coming because of the wedding. So I brought the TV. Problem solved. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. Give him the axe, the axe, the axe. In the neck, in the neck, in the neck now. Axe. I say, wow, axe affair. Let me look into that. Anyway, like, there you go. Is that everything? I hope I didn't forget anything. I hope I didn't. So basically, the harbor is gone. Both the archives and industry are together. So you should check out these other things around the harbor. I'm not going to send you to the Blacks and Wax up on North Avenue because they should be advertising with the industry people. And I'm not going to look, but you know what? That Coppin State, they should now offer like a museum science certificate program. Because they have the museum, the Blacks and Wax. They just opened in 95. That's why the 3 blocks down, all of the row houses on the long side are very nice. The brick is all fixed, just in case somebody wants to park. It looks good. Just don't go further down. Gotta go. Rosebud. Oh! And MoMA had that big, big rose in the little garden area. Oh, MoMA. No, you won't ever see me again. Never. It's final. I bet it is.